Hello, everyone, it's Mana. Have you ever wondered what Japanese women really think about foreigners? I mean, in Japan, most of us grown up surrounded by people with black hair, dark eyes, and a shared cultural background. So when we meet someone from a completely different culture, you might be curious, what kind of impression do we have? Well, today I'm gonna share my honest thoughts. Of course, these are just my personal opinions, but I think a lot of Japanese people would be nodding along with my opinions. At least I hope so. Since we've been surrounded by the same culture since birth, our perspectives can be pretty unique and interesting. That said, everyone is different. People who've lived abroad often have different views compared to those who've never left Japan. Some of my viewers have mentioned that certain Japanese girls are really into foreigners, like they are living in Hollywood movie dream. It's kind of cute and funny, right? Maybe they haven't traveled abroad, so their image of foreigners mostly comes from movies or pop culture. It's interesting how media can be shaped our expectations. So anyway, today I will be talking about top 7 countries my audience is from. The United States, Canada, Australia, Germany, the UK, India, Mexico. Mexico is just one of my favorite countries. I don't have any Mexican audience members yet. So, what kind of image do Japanese people, especially me, have of people from these countries? Are you curious? Let's get started. The first country, the United States of America. As you know, Japan and the US have had a strong relationship since the end of World War II. Over the years, American culture has influenced Japan in so many ways: music, art, humor, fashion, and more. Because of that, many Japanese people admire and respect American culture. Japan is a small country, while the US has vast land and a rich mix of culture due to immigration, which makes it such a unique place. When it comes to personality, Americans tend to be more direct and expressive, which is unique, different from Japanese culture. Many Japanese people see this as a strong sense of self-assertiveness, something that contrasts with our more reserved culture. But that's also what we find fascinating. The confidence, energy, openness that many Americans express can feel refreshing to Japanese people, especially Japanese women. In a way, we admire those traits because they represent something we don't naturally emphasize in our culture. At the same time, there are plenty of things we can relate to, and that's why the connection between Japan and the US remains so strong. So when we meet the people from the US, we naturally feel a sense of closeness and openness toward them. I will never forget a guy from Chicago who came to my restaurant last month. We had such a fun chat about all kinds of interesting topics. Alright, let's move on to the next country, Canada. Honestly, I've never been to Canada, but many younger Japanese people choose to study there because of its beautiful nature, high quality education, and calm yet comfortable cities. It seems like a great place to live and learn. I once worked with a Canadian guy, and he was incredibly kind, and he was always respectful to everyone he worked with, including me. That's really left a great impression on me. I also have some friends who are living in Canada now, and they are really enjoying the culture and find it easy to live there. And they say that they don't want to come back to Japan. Japanese people love Canada for its beautiful nature, delicious maple syrup, and the warm, respectful attitude of its people. Next up, the UK. Japan and the UK actually have a few things in common. Both are island nation, and funnily enough, the subway system in London is pretty similar to Japan's. Japanese people love British culture and find the people polite and respectful. One thing we notice is that the British say "I'm sorry" a lot, and kind of like how Japanese people often say "sumimasen." There's also a strong sense of dignity and pride being British, which we admire, and we love British music: Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles, Adele. Coldplay, so many artists. Ed Sheeran is one of my all-time favorites. I could listen to his music all day. Plus, I have to say, British accent sounds polished and beautiful, especially the Alpine accent, which is spoken by people in London. I'm absolutely drawn to it. British guys are actually pretty popular among Japanese women. We tend to feel like we share a similar sense of manners and personal space, but of course it depends on the individual, I think. The next country, Australia. I have a few friends who went to Australia for studying abroad programs or working holidays, and they totally fell in love with the country. Even after coming back to Japan, they still talk about how much they miss it. I've also had some Australian customers at my restaurant, and they were super friendly and easy to talk to. Australians have this laid back and welcoming vibe. Maybe it's because of all that wide open land. It really gives off a generous and easygoing energy. This is just my personal observation, but I've noticed that some of my friends who came back from Australia actually become more relaxed. Maybe even a little too relaxed for Tokyo life. When they return, some of them feel overwhelmed by how fast-paced and punctual everything is here. It's like they were living in Australia time, which definitely moves slower than top Japan's. The fifth country is Germany. Many Japanese people, especially those who love watching or playing soccer or football as it's called there, feel a sense of connection with Germany. We often think of Germany as a country with a strong soccer culture. Of course, I know there are so many countries famous for soccer, but German stands out to Japanese fans because quite a few Japanese players are active in German teams. And I've also heard that German people often like to talk about topics connected to their history, and they were thoughtful when it comes to discussing topics based on their past. But honestly, it leaves really mature and smart impression. I often see German people are generally calm and generous, but they have this strong, quiet confidence about them. And when it comes to the environment, I've also heard that it's relatively easy for Japanese people to live there, so it seems like we share some similar values and common sense, which makes it feel more comfortable and familiar. The sixth country, India. There are actually quite a lot of Indian people living in Japan, and I've noticed that they are really good at building strong communities whenever they go. They tend to have close connections with each other, and it's amazing how they support one another and stay so united even when living abroad. Most of them are really smart and business savvy, and they run business all over the world and know how to make things happen. They have got such a strong energy, and of course, we love Indian food. As for the overall vibe, they often leave a mysterious impression on us, just mysteriously cool, but at the same time, they are really street smart and super adaptable, no matter where they live. Actually, I once walked with a couple of Indian guys in New York, and for some reason, I kept arguing with one of them. But in the end, we realized it was just a big misunderstanding, and once we talked it out, everything was fine. It was a good reminder that connection style can be really different depending on where you are from. And finally, the last country is Mexico. Even though I've never been there, Mexico is honestly one of my favorite countries. I just love Mexican food, the people, the music, the culture. Everything feels so vibrant and full of life. It's really attractive to me. Back when I was in New York, I worked with two Mexican guys, and we used to hang out after work and eat Mexican food together. I still remember those flavors, and they were unforgettable. These days, I find myself watching Mexican cooking class or masterclass, and I guess I'm still chasing that delicious memory. I felt like they were really positive and had such a strong energy when it came to work. I honestly really enjoyed working with them. They had such a great vibe. So far, I've shared my thoughts and opinions about people from these 7 countries, and hopefully some of them are shared by other Japanese women too. But of course, these might be different from how people actually are in real life or how you see yourselves. But that's what makes it interesting. It's always fun to learn what kind of image you give to people in other countries. So, what kind of image do you have of Japanese people? Share your comments below. I'm looking forward to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Until then, I would be happy if you hit the subscribe button. See you in the next video. Bye!